Hey, it's Dr. Rimka coming to you from Atlanta, back in my office with a nice tan from Hawaii, and it was amazing for those of you who are following me and watching all the videos. I really appreciate it. Since I've been back, even while I was still there, I probably get 10, 15 messages from other doctors asking me to teach them how to use CBD oil with their patients or a lot of times with their own children. And there's been a lot of Facebook posts lately from friends of mine talking about it, and reading the thread of the questions that people are asking and confusion people have. I thought, well, let me just do a little quick thing real fast. So in case you don't know, everyone's talking about medical marijuana, cannabis, and CBD oil. And I said many, many years ago, maybe like 5 at this point, that look out because CBD oil, which stands for cannabidiol, and it's a special component that's in the cannabis plants. And cannabis is a large group. It's kind of like saying cruciferous vegetables. That's broccoli, cauliflower, and some other things, Brussels sprouts, but they're all very different. And cannabis is a group of plants that has different types of hemp and cannabis, whether it's sativa, indica. So some people who are really well versed in that, that's a little bit of technicality, but it's all the same thing. And the word marijuana is a made-up term that it has no class, that was just completely made up, and it's like a street slang term. So let's talk about the health benefits of what's going on with actual CBD. So it's a component, one of the oils, one of the chemicals that's in a whole range of plants. And it's also in flax, it's in hemp, it's in actual cannabis that has the THC. So there's 2 big chemicals that people talk about, THC and CBD. They're typically, you're not going to have a plant that has THC without CBD. THC is the one that people associate with that small feeling of being high if they smoke a joint, right? Or have an edible when they go up to Colorado and they have a little fun time with their brownies or their chocolate bar. That's from the THC. Now, normally these plants that were grown in the wild, they're herbs, they're plants, they're like a vegetable, right? It's a food like basil. And the THC was kind of naturally 3 to 5%. Now, over the years, people have been, because what we do, we just want to make things incredibly excessive and more of something and more. They've been breeding things to have much higher THC levels. So the cannabis or marijuana that's running around today is typically not your grandmother's weed by any means, and the THC levels can be 20, 30%. So they give tremendous explosive kind of highs, and that's where some of the downside of where people can have these bad experiences with, really kind of paranoid, freaking out things. It's because we've taken something and we've kind of perverted it out of its natural form by using all these hybrid type of strains to get the super potent things that people need, like Snoop Dogg. I guess certain people are on a whole nother level of what they need to feel good. But for most of us, that would, that's not what you were doing when you were 17. It would kind of knock you on your ass. All right. So there's that whole medical cannabis thing. Now, CBD oil is coming from a cannabis plant that's called hemp. A little bit different. So you guys can, you can go buy hemp seeds and hemp powder and there's hemp protein and all this stuff, right? And you are getting some CBD, but we can concentrate it out, and it has a tremendous amount of effect. So basically, I'm going to tell you, I pretty much have everybody in my office on it. And I take it, my son takes it, my dog takes it, my mother takes it. Anybody I'm dating better be taking it. And it's because it does so many profound things to heal your brain, your nervous system, your body, your gut, your joints. But one of the primary things why I love it is because of what it's doing to upregulate your own system. Basically, the body will always heal itself and do everything it needs to do correctly if you just give it what it needs and take the garbage out of the way. So, like, how do I kind of explain? So, big thing that it does. So you heard of neurotransmitters, probably. And the whole psychiatric field is based upon neurotransmitter imbalance, and we give you a medication to push something, reuptake at a junction or inhibit at the junction. So they discovered just a few years ago, as much as we know about the body, there's a system in the body called the endocannabinoid system, meaning the internal cannabinoid system. It turns out they found out we have receptors all over the place, and there's a whole special system for cannabinoids. It means, oh, we're supposed to be ingesting cannabinoids on a regular basis. And what does that thing do? That's actually the primer system for your entire neurotransmitter system. So it's the first stage of getting that part of your brain chemistry, of your feel-good chemicals working. And since we also know how that's related to the gut, since like most of these conversions are happening down in there as well, oh, look at how it helps with inflammation and healing gut disorders. So it has these very, very powerful impacts. And so I just want to say this. CBD is about to blow up. I said it a long time ago that it's going to be seen within 10 years. I said about 5 years ago, like vitamin C. It's going to become ubiquitous, and it's going to be understood to be an essential nutrient. That's how I describe it. I have several products that I use here, and I'm kind of tell you briefly, but what I want you to know is people are starting to use it like crazy, but they're kind of afraid to tell people because they don't really think they're doing weed. Not the same thing. There is no high. You have to have 0.03% or less of THC per serving in CBD oil for it to be legal. So I have it. This is legal. I travel with it. It goes on the plane with me. It just went to Hawaii with me. Actually, I left it, so I had to get some more. I lost it in a hotel, so somebody else got a happy treat. So anyway, that's the thing I tell people. It's like an essential nutrient, right? It's like omega-3s to me. I use a lot of it because I'm helping repair brains and increase the function and structure of brains and a lot of paresthesia and nerve disorders. I need the right kinds of fats and oils. So CBD is an oil. It's a fat that's extracted from a hemp plant, right? So what some of my concerns are when it's becoming really popular, and your MLMs are about to roll it out. It's going to become the new thing. Moms are going to be having parties. I don't know if these products are good, but that's the big question some people have. One, is the product quality? You really need to be careful. There are a lot of fraudulent scam kind of products on the market. I beta tested 7 to 8 products on a group of my patients a few years ago to see what actually worked, what didn't work. I didn't run things through a lab. I didn't pay for that to see is there really CBD in it. But a lot of the companies are really shady on telling you how many milligrams are really in this. And is there really CBD oil, or is it just vitamin E? Is it something else trying to possibly make you feel good? So counterfeit supplementation is a huge multi-billion-dollar industry, just so you know. This is why I will never buy a product from a Kroger, a Target, a GNC. I'm even really skeptical about Amazon. There's a lot of counterfeit things that go on there. I mean, there's an entire department in our government that does just this, and it's whole containerfuls, freight coming in from other countries that don't have any of the product in. They just steal the labeling, and you think it's CoQ10. If you're getting CoQ10 for $20, let me just tell you, it's vitamin E or soybean oil. It's not what you think it is. So CBD oil is kind of the same way. You need to really be careful. You need to go with brands you can trust, because one, is there even CBD oil in it? That's the truth. A lot of them, it's just total BS. Two, if there is CBD oil, where is it coming from? Is it some type of hybrid plant that's not being grown in its normal environment? The product I use is 100% organic. It's actually grown in Europe. I don't see major benefit of having something grown in America, to be honest. Our soil is terrible. I want plants that grow where they're supposed to be growing naturally. So how is it grown? And is it a real plant, or is it some hybridization, alien type of species of a plant? I want the real deal that's been around here for millions of years. 3, how is it processed? Are they using cheap processing, chemical solvents, heat? Are they degrading that oil? Are they turning a healing thing into a cancerous product? A cacao bean, a chocolate bean is an amazing, healing, powerful, magical food that changes your serotonin levels, changes your sex drive. It actually can have some anti-inflammatory properties. But by the time Nestle and Hershey get through with it, it's a piece of garbage that's going to kill you. Okay? So you got to look at how it's processed and what's done to it. So again, is there really stuff in it? What type of plant is it? Is it alien or real, and how are they processing it. And then the next thing is cost per milligram. That's really what it kind of comes down to. So some people will look at a price of something. You might have a product that's $400, but you're getting 2,000 milligrams of it, and that's going to last you for months. Or it's cheap, but that really was only a week's worth that you need. The other thing is about dosing. We try to come up with dosing like this many milligrams per kilograms of body weight. I found that clinically to be completely erroneous. It just doesn't matter at all. I've had people 350 pounds who 15 milligrams a day is a beautiful dose for them. I need a lot more than 15 milligrams a day, and I'm not 350 pounds. I've had children who need more than I do. My dog takes 15 milligrams and he's 16 pounds. So it really has a lot to do with what that person's needs are and how the absorption rate is. And are you a fast metabolizer or a slow metabolizer? That's something that some people don't know. A lot of people are taking capsules, which is fine. But if you're a fast metabolizer, you're not going to feel the effects of those capsules. I don't feel any of the effects of the capsules. And there's a way you can test that out. So if you're taking a dose and you're like, I don't feel anything. One, are you even taking CBD, or is it a scam, shitty product? Okay. Two, are you taking enough? That's a big deal. You're going to have to titrate up and find out where that spot is for you. And three, are you a fast metabolizer, and is the way you're taking it appropriate for you? So typically we all think of sublingual as being the most powerful way to do it. The mucosa in your mouth really likes it that way. It's a little bit better. It's better than vaping. It's better than the skin and all these things. But the capsules, if you're a fast metabolizer and you're taking capsules, you often aren't going to feel anything. And how you can test that out is go ahead and just chew down on that capsule and let it explode in your mouth, and hold it for like 2 to 5 minutes, as long as you can, and see if that same amount then has an effect. And you'll feel a little bit of relaxation and maybe some muscle tension, like the neck will just, how some people feel maybe after a glass of wine. Not a buzz exactly, just like, oh, I feel better. Like, I've had moms just come in and go, okay, I love it, right? So I like to give them a little bit in my office, like while I'm training their kids. I'm like, Mommy, just come over here, I'll help you click. And they're like, oh my God. It's like having a glass of wine, they say. I'm like, okay, I don't drink wine very much, but I'm glad to know that's what you're feeling. And the difference between a glass of wine and this is that the wine is neurotoxic. This is actually repairing your brain. Okay, and I just saw somebody ask, is it helpful for depression? Absolutely. So what are some of the things I use it for? So one, let's say, I think everybody needs to be on it. It's like vitamin C, omega-3, vitamin D, whatever. This is an essential nutrient that your body actually needs. And how convenient that it's been taken away from us for so long with the illegalization, all that stuff. Like an essential nutrient that is the primer for your neurotransmitters, which is the primer for all your mental health and how you feel good. Take that away, and everybody's system starts to, so everybody's going to get anxious and depressed and not feel good. Then they're going to need a pharmaceutical. Isn't that convenient? I don't know. So those are some of the things. So some of the brands people ask, I don't know every brand that's on the market, and a whole bunch are coming out, right? I use Elixinol because, again, I tested things out and I can't use 8,000 things. The price point is amazing. It's an organic product grown in Europe. It's either Croatia or Czech Republic. I'm blanking. It's one of those. I've sat and had dinner with the owners of the company multiple times. They're good guys. The medical director, Philip Blair, I've worked with him and talked with him. It's very well processed. It's not oxidized. Again, organic, European grown, real plants, like not hybrid, which is a big issue to me. So that's the brand I use. Okay. There's many different forms. Like you see, this one is 1,000 milligrams and it's in a special pen. This is what I actually like. It is the strongest one. It's therefore, they have one that's even a higher pace, but I stick with this. It's full spectrum. Adds a little MCT oil and turmeric to it. I put it on my tongue. It helps me. Why did I start using it? I started using it because of how sick I got from mold in my home. And I'll be doing a whole lot of pieces on that later, but mold biotoxin illness nearly took me out a few years ago. It has taken my son down very hard. And I've had to do a whole lot of new things personally and invest a lot of time, energy, money to recover myself. So it started helping. I did it vaping to help if I couldn't breathe and I was having asthma attacks, and it stopped it immediately. So that's how I first started. And then I started taking more of this because there was a tremendous amount of body pain and I blew through 3 discs. The mold ate through my discs and my nerves. So I'm using this to help recover and it helps with pain. And I couldn't sleep either because the mold blew up the back of my brain with severe inflammation and I no longer could sleep. So I had to do very high dosages of this. I was going through 2 or 3 a month. I'm down to just about 1 a month I use of this. So I do a few clicks. What I like about this brand is everything is dosed very well. So this is a 15 milligram click each time. I personally take between 30 and 90 milligrams a day. I do it throughout the day or I do it at night. Now there's other forms. Again, there's capsules. This is what I have my mom take. Again, capsules is going to be the one of the more expensive forms of milligrams. A lot of people like it because it's convenient. But remember, some of you, if you're not getting the results you want, it's because you're probably a fast metabolizer or you're not taking enough. I'm so happy for these people who get amazing results from 15 milligrams. And I have tons of them, but I got plenty of other people who are more than 90 to 150 milligrams a day. If you're dealing with ulcerative colitis and Crohn's and fibromyalgia or severe PTSD, you're going to need bigger numbers for a while. Then we can titrate you down. So some of the questions I think I've gotten so far were, does it help for depression? Crazy for depression. Crazy good for depression. Crazy, crazy, crazy good. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Really, really good. It's amazing for PTSD, actually. And there's whole studies to back me up on this, and I might throw some in there. There's like tinctures for kids, because some of the tastes are tough, right? But we have little cinnamon. Most of the kids have no problem with that. Again, you're going to pay a few cents more per milligram. I want you to look at that again per milligram. Are you paying 13 cents a milligram or 56 cents a milligram? Because that's sometimes it comes down to that product works, but it's 62 cents a milligram. Really? Go with this one because it's 17. You know, like it's a big difference. That's what you got to look at, not the overall price. You got to break it down. Yeah, so very helpful for depression. I don't smoke weed, but can you smoke a joint and have the same benefits? What's the difference? That's different. Okay, so yeah, you can. So here's the thing with joints, right? First of all, once you smoke it, like smoking and inhaling smoke is actually causing some damage. So I would never recommend people are doing it that way. Vaping CBD or vaping marijuana, medical cannabis, that's a whole other issue of itself. Most of the vapes that are out there have a couple chemicals that are really toxic and carcinogenic. So you're kind of negating the effect and you're creating these other problems in your lungs, such as popcorn lung. Elixinol did just come out with a vape product because it's very hard. A lot of the good CBD companies, you'll notice, do not have vape products out. There's a couple that I know of that are just now rolling out because the science behind making it without those two chemicals is very hard. So I have the vape and I suggest it as a kind of a secondary supplement for people who are using CBD. I don't like it because I can't dose it. I can't really know what I'm giving you. So I like to know what I'm saying. Try 15 milligrams of this, try 30 milligrams. We're going to start you with this, titrate up. And we have to play with that dose on what every person needs. And with a vape, you can't, but it's for the social factor, there's that. So you don't get the same things with smoking weed, Stephanie, as a person, that's so Stephanie. So, because typically the weed you're buying is really high THC and not as much CBD. CBD calms the effects of the THC. So for somebody who doesn't want to get the high, they need to really dose up on extra CBD. For many conditions, CBD alone is what's really doing the magic, but there are some things that you need a little THC, and that would be the medical cannabis aspect. So there are some very famous people who use it, like Montel Williams with his MS. He's credited chiropractic care, medical cannabis, and Protandim, which is another product I support, as big things that are what keep him in check. And he is smoking, vaping. Vaping is the way to go every day, but he doesn't walk around high, but he does need a little bit of THC. So there are some certain Parkinson's, some of the neurological disorders where that little bit of THC, not to where you're so baked you're shoving, pizza in your face and chips all night, I think we've all been there. So it's a little different. It's not quite the same, and the THC does cause some brain wave changes, so you can end up with this, why people think of weed smokers as unmotivated, lazy, maybe even depressive. It creates a lot of alpha and theta in the front of the brain, and so we can see that. So a lot of times on maps we have to ask people, we're like, are you smoking a lot of weed? Because that's what I see here. And if they don't, we're like, wow, you're born with this. Or like, yeah, like some of your motivation problem here, it really is coming from that. So there's a fine balance of how you can do it, but you can get foggy, unmotivated brain because of the brain waves that too much weed smoking can do. What if blah, blah, blah? Is there a limit to how much is too much? Yeah, there is. I played with it one day, so I like to do a lot of experiments, and I took so much one day. I really made myself uncomfortable because I think my THC got too high, and I was like, my heart was palpitating. I was like, oh, I was doing like, I think 150 at a time, like 3-4 times in one day. So I wanted to see what my body could handle. It was too much. 150 milligrams, let's say, of CBD is a lot, right? Like that would be my higher end, but and maybe in acute case you might have to go. So just there's some really interesting studies that have just come out. They're using CBD oil in acute liver crisis. So when people are doing cocaine right now, their livers are shutting down so bad, like that's what can kill you. And they've been treating it with CBD, and it's stopping the liver shutdown that's coming from the cocaine. It's ridiculous. CBD is not addictive, right? So a lot of people are using all these different opiates and an herb right now called kratom. Like this is a whole nother bad problem that's happening, and there's a lot of support people have for this herb, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing in my practice with it. CBD can do the same thing without being addictive, without having withdrawal. The reason why nobody, just a side note, like on cannabis, there's never been an overdose or death related to it at all, like ever, because you can't. Unlike all these other drugs, there's no receptors for it whatsoever in the brainstem, so therefore it never affects heart rate, breathing, vital life support measures. Unlike alcohol, goes there, cocaine goes there, meth, heroin, opiates, benzodiazepines, your Valium, your Xanax, they're all going there and slowing down your ability to be alive, which is why if you couple that with a few beers, you're dead, right? Because it slows everything down. Shows something. Weed doesn't do that. Cannabis doesn't do that. CBD doesn't do it. What else? Yeah, you have to, if you're taking, Hannah, that much and you're not feeling any effect, it's either the product is not good, there's some absorption issue, we need to hold it in the mouth longer, the method you're using, topical versus capsule versus sublingual, there's something to address in it, because I would question if at that dosage, if someone doesn't have it. So I just wanted to kind of say that there was a few little things that I was seeing people asking a lot of questions about. One is like, what are good products? There are more than Elixinol good products, for sure. But I personally would not be walking into a Whole Foods and buying cannabis off the shelf. That's just me. I don't buy essential oil from them. The quality is not the same, plus the price point is going to be higher. You can be getting pharmaceutical grade products from people like me or other practices. So I sell Elixinol. I use it. It's the one I do. Again, inflammation, God, a rotator. I'm using it at my mom for rotator cuff and irritable bowel stuff. It's like amazing. I've used it. We use it cancer left and right, anxiety, depression, pain, end of story, always PTSD. It's amazing for a lot of gut disorders. I mean, gut disorders are so easy to deal with at this point. I'm surprised people spend 5 years at some gastro person and then come in here in 4 weeks and they're fine. It's easier than you guys think. And it's not crazy about food, to be honest. That's about it, I think, for CBD to kind of say. But just know, it's coming. Everybody's going to be talking about it. Everybody's going to be using it. MLMs, they are rolling it out. It is the new big thing. It's going to be the new vitamin C. It's not all quackery. It's really good stuff. You got to be careful. I'd go with some tried and true things. Everywhere I turn around, somebody is selling it, or trying to sell it to me online and my Facebook feed. So everybody's getting into it. So I just go get some advice with somebody to work with you on dosing and knowing what to do. Every now and then, some people can get a little activated and not sleep from it. No, that's not a bad thing. We just have to do you in the morning. Everybody's different. And there's no universal, just do this, dose it like that. And when everybody says that to you, I feel like they don't really know what they're talking about. And I would be wary. And I also am wary of people who really don't do this stuff clinically being the ones giving you advice, right? So I see it with essential oil people, somebody will mention some diagnosis and they think they know what to do, and you're like, be careful with that. It is a little concerning, but so there's that. That's about all I'm gonna say. So see you guys later. I love Elixinol, but if I see something better and cheaper, I'm gonna be getting that for myself and my clients as well. But it's been a tried and true, trusted company, and it's a good product. Again, there's other ones on the market. Again, there's one that's good. It's Charlotte's Web. I just thought it was too expensive. So overall, I try to keep the price down to something I know is really high quality and people are going to get results with consistently. And that's Elixinol. And if anybody wants any, we can ship it to you. But just do your homework or go to somebody like me who already did the homework for you. And we can tell you, no, that brand's not good. Anybody who's Rick Simpson oil, I've had patients bring that in and use that with me too. That's really good. There's some good ones. All right. Talk to you guys later.